Football is a global sport that houses a huge number of religions, as it tends to be non-discriminatory and impartial towards players' beliefs and ethics. One such religion, which is very much prominent in the world of football, is Islam, as it accounts for more than 1.91 billion followers, making Islam the world's second largest religion. Prominent football icons such as Karim Benzema of Real Madrid, and Ngolo Kante of Chelsea FC, Paul Pogba of Manchester United, Antonio Rudiger of Chelsea FC, Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, both of Liverpool FC, are among a handful of football stars who identify with Islam as their religion. This video will thus be having a critical look at some strict rules that Muslim football stars must follow. Let's go! 1. Fighting and indiscipline. Due to the physical nature of football, it's almost impossible for players to avoid having a flamed-up temper during games. This is because tough tackles, emotions, and harsh decisions against a player's team could possibly prompt him or her to want to confront an opposing player and probably lead to a face-off. Over time, we have seen footballers lose their cool during games due to certain reasons and, as such, engage in physical fights with opposing players in games, which often leads to a caution, yellow card, sending off, red card, or a possible suspension. The big question now is, should Muslim players fight on the football pitch? Should they fight in self-defense or fight to defend their club and teammates? The answer is a big capital no. Fighting is one act of indiscipline that is greatly frowned upon by the footballing world at large, and most often, offenders are fined with serious sanctions after falling victim to the act. Islam as a religion frowns against fighting and indiscipline, and as such is best for Muslim players to act well behaved on and off the field, as having self-control is the best way of keeping to the footballing rule of indiscipline. There is also a hadith in Islam that says, a strong person is not the one that has the strength to fall people down, but rather one who can control his heart while angry. 2. Cheating. Oh yes, most footballers cheat a lot during games, and some do it without even knowing. Isn't that weird? Players tend to cook up several deceitful antics during games just to hand themselves and their respective teams an undue advantage, which, morally speaking, is cheating. Acts such as diving, faking injuries, lying, deliberately handling the ball, simulations, and unnecessary time wasting are classical examples of some cheating behaviours footballers exhibit while on the pitch. This leads to another question. Should Muslim footballers follow such a trend? Obviously the answer is no, as Islam frowns against any act of cheating. Therefore, Muslim players are thus expected to be truthful and honest while on and off the football pitch, as there is also a hadith that says, whoever cheats us isn't one of us. Deceitful acts such as diving, feigning an injury, lying against clear-cut decisions such as handballs, fouls, and other acts that tend to deceive the referee or match official could attract punishments, as they are classified as unsporting behaviours. As such, it is advisable for a Muslim footballer to stick to the rules and avoid being a victim of such unworthy character. 3. Gambling and match fixing. You may want to ask, are footballers prohibited from gambling? The answer is yes. This is a strict rule in football that players are expected to observe, as it is highly frowned against by most footballing authorities. It is widely believed that players have access to certain key information about their teams or games, and as such, staking or placing a football bet could be seen as a breach of the rule. Any footballer guilty of gambling or match fixing could face serious consequences, which could either lead to losing his or her career, or possibly facing criminal charges. With that being said, a Muslim footballer isn't expected to gamble, as gambling itself is an act that is highly frowned against in Islam. There is a hadith that says, if you are asked about wine and gambling, say in them there is a great sin. So Muslim football stars shouldn't go against the rules on gambling, as it could have serious consequences on both their footballing careers and also their religious faith. 4. Mode of dressing. Of course, there are certain rules that guide the mode of dressing of professional footballers, as any clothing material aside a designated club kit could be banned. As such, Muslim footballers are also expected to stick strictly to the rules around the mode of dressing or could face certain punishments if found guilty. For instance, a footballer isn't expected to take off his shirt or shorts while celebrating a goal, as it is said to be an act of unsporting behaviour and could attract a caution. However, despite the rules, most footballers, Muslims included, are often guilty of breaking this rule of the game. According to FIFA's Law 12, which regulates the rule of indecent dressing, it is stated that a player who removes his or her shirt as a way of celebration will automatically receive a yellow card. Also, in Islam, indecent dressing is highly prohibited, and as such, Muslim players should endeavour to get their mode of dressing right while on and off the pitch. For the female footballers, it wouldn't be morally right to have their clothes too tight and revealing, as they are expected to cover themselves up properly. There is also a hadith which talks about indecent dressing for the females and how they aren't expected to show their nakedness, to reveal their bodies to those who aren't legally married to them. 5. Alcohol and doping. While there isn't really a general rule that restricts footballers from taking alcohol, it is, however, frowned at and prohibited at games or match venues. During the Euro 2022 Cup competition that was hosted in England, Manchester United and French footballer Paul Pogba removed a bottle of alcohol from his table during a pre-match press conference, citing health and religious beliefs for his actions. Pogba, as we all know, is a very devoted Muslim, and Islam in general frowns against taking of alcoholic substances, as it's classified as an intoxicant according to the Holy Quran. Aside from alcohol, Muslim footballers should also abide according to the footballing rules regarding doping, which has to do with the consumption and intake of prohibited medications, drugs, or treatments. These doping substances could enhance a player's performance level on the football pitch, thus giving him or her an undue advantage against an opponent. Those who have been found guilty of doping most times are being subject to a heavy ban by football authorities, which could last for several months or even a lifetime. According to FIFA's regulations with respect to doping, a guilty offender can face severe actions with respect to the following: missing doping tests, a maximum of 3 times, with doping control officers, possessing prohibited substances or passing on a prohibited substance, working with or encouraging a third party to violate anti-doping rules, failing to provide general whereabouts information every 3 months, whereabouts failure through ignorance, refusing a control, non-availability for the officers, failing to follow doping officers' instructions during the control, engaging in or attempting to engage in fraudulent conduct during doping control. It could also lead to the loss of several important endorsements, which could go a long way in affecting the financial status of a player, as well as his or her reputation, which must have taken several years of dedication to build. So, just in case you have any other ideas on some rules you feel Muslim players should stick to, and you'd like to share it, please do drop your comments in the comments section below this video. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss our future videos.